500 likes because life isn't easy. I honestly found this first clip randomly. I was just like a homeless man looking for some food, and while he was searching in the garbage, instead of finding food, he found whores. Sorry, I mean, he found diamonds. How about I also give you some insights about this dude and how he went broke? Let's continue with our main topic, the scary part. Taxes. And the paranormal, if I'm not mistaken. This dude is Russian. And I'm talking about the investigator now, not the poor man. This Russian dude found himself in a very awkward and scary situation. Did he get caught cheating? Nope. I think that isn't really much of a problem for him, but as he was trying to communicate with whatever spirit was hanging in that house, things got intense. But how? How did I hit my toe? Or how did the dude find himself in such a problem? While he was entering the bathroom. You know what? He was actually already inside when the activity took place. So while he was in there, he felt tempted by the toilet seat. It was like calling him to give it a shot. A shot of pee, but he was still thinking about it, and these spirits tried to make him comfortable. So what did they do? Did they pull down his pants for him so he wouldn't have to do much work? No, they closed the door for him. Or, more like, they closed the door on him. And after he escaped and finally decided to leave this property for good, they pushed him back. And they said, "We have been waiting for 20 years for someone to finally come and spend some time with us. It's getting boring in here." That's what I think they wanted to tell him, but he had no chill and jumped from the window.
Сука! Твою мать! Блядь! Сука, блядь! Ну нахуй, блядь! Хуй, блядь! Ну твою мать! Где вы, твою мать? Це ебаный выход.
Look, I don't understand Russian, but after watching this video on 2x speed, I realized just how many times this man swore. Thank goodness the person who uploaded this video had already gotten the censoring part done. Jeff, Phil, and Mark from Ghost Tech, these three are investigating the Kelvedon Hatch nuclear bunker, which is a large underground bunker in Essex, UK, built during the Cold War to protect government officials in case of a nuclear attack. And now it's a museum. That's the best brief introduction ChatGPT could come up with. I mean, that's all I could come up with. We start with Mark, the poor dude in the title. But why is he poor? I don't know, maybe he has to pay for a lot of things in his life, and he isn't making enough money. I didn't mean his financial state. I was talking about the scenario he had to go through. What scenario? Maybe if you give me a minute, I can explain everything. Mark was just like his name implies. He was marked as the main target for these spirits. As he was the one to sit on the chair and communicate with the spirits, he had to be the one to ask these personal questions. He was the one to call the shots. He was the one that I was talking about as if he were an important political figure in some country when he was just a normal dude, a little fat if you ask me, with glasses on. So, as he was asking some of his stupid questions, they responded to him with some bangs and footsteps. Phil, his teammate, saw that and couldn't resist but to come down and do the communication part by himself. His jealousy took over his emotions and he decided to test his luck. And oh man, didn't he get a response. It was just some footsteps again. Phil, you're not that special, son. Now let's get to Jeff, who was tested physically. Did they beat the old man? Unfortunately, they didn't. But they locked the door on him. Jeff tried flexing his muscles and opening the door with force, but he almost broke 7 of his vertebrae, so he asked them politely instead.
Or if there's anybody else who's in the corridor or maybe in this room or the next room, maybe you could knock on something to let me know you're there, or set the little device off there with the green light on it. It won't do you any harm, it'll just make a buzzing noise and pretty lights will show on it. Or there's another box there that if you walk in the corridor, you'll set it off and it'll play a tune.
The sound of a door opens and closes in the hallway only yards away from Mark. We know it is not any of us, as Phil and I are up on level 1.
You'll set it off and it'll play a tune. I'm hearing all sorts of banging now. Footsteps really loud.
Mark finishes his session in the Prime Minister's quarters with good evidence documented. He makes his way out to the stairwell and up to the first level where Phil and I are located. 4 minutes after Mark leaves, the music box activates as it picks up movement within the hallway.
So I'm going to sit here. I'm going to ask you to make a noise, please. Okay, I thought I heard you then. To be honest, it sounded like more than one of you. Okay, yeah, I can hear you walking.
It is only minutes before Phil hears movement, followed by walking. Here is the enhanced audio taken from Phil's digital recorder.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you walking.
Now, I'm not sure if you were here when this place was being constructed, but there was a gentleman that was called Ronald Horn, a civil engineer. He was the project manager here. Do you remember Ronald Horn? I've spoken to Ronald.
Died not so long ago.
What was that? Did you hear that voice, Phil?
I heard that loud and clear.
We all hear a disembodied voice which seems to come from behind me, and only on review do we then know what the voice is telling us.
I've spoken to Ronald.
Died not so long ago.
What was that? Did you hear that voice, Phil?
We finish the session in the dormitories, and as we try to leave, the door will not open, as if it's been held from the other side. I try to open the door, pulling as hard as I can, but the door will not open.
Who's holding that door?
Can we come out, please? We want to come out now. Thank you.
That's pretty weird.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that door now. There you are. That's twice.
Mark will be sleeping in the sick bay where the shadow figure has been seen. Phil and I will be sleeping in the male dormitories. Phil arranges his bed. There is no one else on this level at this time, and as he climbs into his bunk bed, a figure which moves at great speed passes the window at the far end. You can see the dark hair and a white shirt as it passes by.
I told you that Mark was targeted. At the end of their investigation, they had to send him alone to the closest area where they captured their best and scariest scene. where they found the shadow figure. Talking about shadow figures, in the next clip, we won't see any shadow figures. Instead, we have a jinn figure. What's the difference? I have no idea. I think a jinn figure is supposed to be a shape-shifted jinn into some creature of some sort, while a shadow figure is just like our own shadows. What a great explanation. If I had kept my mouth shut, it would have been better. So here is a lady who sounds like a little girl, the age of 15 or 16, but could be in her late 30s. Based on her voice, it's so hard to tell. Forget about her angelic, beautiful, seductive voice that is melting my ass, and my heart with it too. Let's focus on her paranormal incidents. It all starts in the very dark, where it's hard to tell what you're supposed to be looking at. I thought her clothes were moving on their own while they were hanging on the laundry dryer rope. Turned out there was some dark figure standing. So there are dark figures in this video. So I did lie to you at the beginning. But why did I do that? Why did I trick you? What? Are you going to kneel and cry too? Let's keep going till we reach the edge of Earth, according to Earth Flatters. While Cassandra was sitting in front of her fan. She has fans. Yes, she has one in her house. I'm talking about an air fan. Cassie stood up and chose violence, and here comes some hands hanging from between the stairs. At the end, while she was trying to sleep, her mom checked on her, but she was wearing a Halloween costume for some reason. What a bunch of weirdos.
Eran las 4 de la mañana y mi perrita no paraba de ladrar cuando salí. Capté esto.
Hola gente, otra vez el ruido ese. Poco estoy haciendo compañía hoy, pero ya estoy sola. Todavía se escucha un ruido de abajo y la verdad que no sé. Ay, la con olor a árbol. Sora. Sora, subí. Ay, no, Dios santo. Nera. Facu. Facundo, levántate, por favor. Levántate.
See why I can't tell her age. It's not just her voice, it's that little dude sleeping with her. He is either her little brother or her husband. I mean, her son. With the amount of activity happening in the next family's house, it's really a mess. Like, I really can say whatever I want, and there is a high chance you could find it in the video, even if it didn't happen. But why does the title say, I found your dad? And you might say, the title says something else. It's Shrek, not I found your dad. Well, son, the truth is that your father will appear in Shrek 5 when it comes out, so stay tuned. But Shrek is also present in the next clip. I'm telling you, anything can happen here. He was chilling alone when he raised his hand all of a sudden, and before he starts singing Hallelujah, it cuts to the next room, to the bedroom. It turned out that Shrek was actually pointing at the bedroom. So what happened there? Something very sexual, but in reality, some stuff just fell off the shelf. In another scene of the bedroom, but this time the couple was trying to get some sleep. The husband couldn't stand his wife any longer, especially after she pulled the blanket off him very aggressively, until he found out that she wasn't even in the bed. I don't know why, but the wife decided to put some flour on the floor to make a cake. She went outside for a fresh breath of air after she farted hard, and when she came back, due to how heavy her fart gas was, it left some weird marks on the flour. Even when everyone is living their normal daily life, something like the closet door can open by itself in front of them, and they would act very ignorant, like if they were sitting with their friends in a park, and two of them are a couple, and one of them got horny and decided to make out in that moment. To wrap things up very quickly, the trash can is wiping the floor. The couches are moving. Toilet paper, my favorite secret tool, was flying. The curtains are swinging. Clothes are shaking, and more. These sofas are changing their positions as if it was nothing. When I decide to move my couch from one place to another, I have to plan it out for at least 2 days. And if I end up deciding to change its position, I have to make sure that I'm in the right mood on the right day. Talking about changing the couch's position, here is yet another clip where the ghosts make it look so easy as if it was nothing to be bothered by. It's like these videos are making a joke out of me, bigger than the joke that I am already. But when it comes to paranormal activities, we have more. Like the clock, which its time seemed to be more broken than my time management. It's exactly like how I think of an hour. And when you look in the mirror, you can see that someone died in this place, and he used to stare at himself for a long time. And if the owner of the property didn't pass away yet, which makes sense, I mean, who else would install these security cameras? A thief was robbing the house, but on his way to getting the job done, he was welcomed by some jinn, and then the police came in and caught him red-handed. So they took him to jail, robbed the house on behalf of him, and used their authority as an excuse to keep what they took. While this poor thief had to convince the court to install security cameras in the house to prove what he saw was real. What a fancy scenario. I really don't like mirrors for that reason. Plus the fact that I don't want to see all the imperfections on my face. All these acne make me look as old as a tree. And I don't really have anything left to say here other than that there are new cool shirts and mugs in the Spicy Horror store that you can't get anywhere else. And do you know what you also can't find anywhere else? The subscribe button and the next video on your screen that you should watch.